Hey, welcome back. So in this video, I am going to update you on our visa situation and how that's affected our move to the USA. On June 22nd, there was an executive order signed from President Trump announcing that he was suspending temporary working visas. And yes, this did include my visa. This particular visa ban means that visas of this set category will not be issued until the end of the year, so 31st of December. And there is a possibility that that can be extended as well. This is a bit of an odd situation because I actually have my visa, and under this proclamation, they are not revoking any visas that have been issued. So technically, I am still allowed to go to the USA. The issue we have is that my husband did not get his visa on time, and that was simply due to the timing of when we went to the visa office and when the travel ban was initiated. When the proclamation was announced, I contacted our immigration lawyer straight away. I also looked on the forums, the news report, and it was really confusing at that point because what was not really clear was if I have my visa and my husband is a dependent visa, whether his visa would still be issued. Now, if you read the proclamation, it did imply that they would not issue it, but then to further complicate things, my husband had actually already applied for his visa. So it was clear that had he have not applied, he would not be allowed to. But given the fact that he's already paid for his visa fee and is in processing, it really wasn't clear what would happen to his visa. We finally had confirmation this week that his visa will be pending until the end of the year. So 31st of December will be the earliest. Well, it's not until that date that they can start issuing his visa. So what does this mean? We are definitely not going to the USA this year now. Realistically, it will be early next year, but even then we need the visa offices back up and running. We don't know, let's say on 1st of January, his visa, they can issue that visa. We don't know what backlog they will have, how long it will take them to issue the visa. Therefore, at the moment we're expecting February absolute earliest. There are possibilities that they suspend the proclamation. Now, to me, it is a bit funny why this suspension has come about because it's supposed to help employment of American workers. So the theory behind suspending these types of visas are that if you suspend this, then there will be more jobs available for Americans. So why did Trump sign off this order? The aim and premise of this executive order was to encourage more employment for American workers. So the theory behind this is that if you stop these types of visas being issued, there would now be more jobs available for American workers. Now, on face value, the rationale behind this suspension does make sense, right? And given the COVID situation with people losing jobs, it makes sense to try and protect employment for American workers. So, yeah, makes sense. However, one of the visa categories targeted in this suspension was the L-type visa, and my particular visa was the L1A, and the L1A visa is for intra-company transfer for senior executives. Now, I could spend a long time discussing and debating the rationale behind this, but when you take a look at the L1A and what that means for these global companies, it allows you to transfer your senior leadership around the globe into various offices to make an impact to that country and to build the business and to get the skills where you need them. And you generally don't do that unless you actually need the skill, because if you think about relocating an employee, it is costly. But you do that because you know there is a benefit to where you are moving them and the impact that they will have locally there. Therefore, suspending this visa type is not going to create an opportunity for an American. In fact, it's likely to impact American jobs. As typically with L1As, they are being transferred to manage and grow a team, like me. In fact, I had 3 roles that I was planning to hire straight away as soon as I moved to the US. And now with me being stuck in the UK, this makes things a lot more difficult. Currently, I will continue my role from the UK, inputting into the UK tax system as opposed to the US. This is not ideal as most of my team and the people that I work with are in the US, and the 8-hour difference has a huge impact to my team's productivity and my availability to be able to support the local team. Let's remember, L1A visas are intra-company transfers that allow specific skill sets to be placed where they're needed in the USA. Put quite simply for me, it was an internal transfer for me to help with this new initiative that would have created more jobs for Americans. And I want to point out that these internal transfers, and I've said it earlier, it's not cheap. There is costs involved. This is not a cheap thing for a company to do. In fact, they are not saving money by doing this. The reason they do this is because they see a real business need, and that overall the investment is worth it for the future of the business. Last point on this. I personally am someone that believes that immigration, especially for work purposes, is a really great thing for a company and even for a country. Working for a medical technology company, I truly do believe the best innovations, practices come from a diverse work culture. Okay. Rant over. In terms of next steps, given that we know that the earliest time that we'll be moving now is early next year, we are now planning to get our things back out of storage. Yes. After going through that whole process of the pack and load and things going into storage, we are now organising for some of the things to come back out of storage. Mainly things like our bed, TV, the big items, and anything that we think we will need for the new place that we're moving into. Hopefully we will move into the new apartment in the next few weeks, and then it's just wait. Literally just waiting until the visa. It could be that we get the visa in February. It could be that we're waiting much longer. So who knows? At least we have a longer term place to move into rather than being in this current situation of looking for temporary accommodation. When we started this series documenting our move to the USA, I would have never have guessed this happening. I mean, no one would have guessed that year 2020 would have turned out this way. And yeah, it's just a very strange time. We have to accept the situation as it is. I do really believe the move to the USA will happen. I am positive in that. It's just now some of the excitement that I had back in February and March is not there, but I am positive it will happen eventually. Well, I hope you have found our story of trying to move to the USA as entertaining or as interesting as we have found it. Yeah. What can I say? Interesting times ahead.